Hey everybody, it's Instructor Fullerton. This is my home office and I'm just going to record a video for you today to kind of catch you up on, um, or just to give you directions about the online class for this week since I am canceling class today. Um, and thank you for being flexible. It's a hard time for a family, but I feel peaceful about the decision we've made. So uh, anyway, thanks for being flexible, and I'll look forward to seeing you guys next week. So just to kind of catch you up to date on the memoir, which is Project 1. First of all, for section 24, which is my 2 o'clock class, please spend today during class time or at some point before class time walking over to the Roosevelt building, up to the third floor. Room 324 is the writing and rhetoric office, and I have a mailbox in that office. There's a student worker who works there, so they can point you to my mailbox. And please, in that mailbox, put your Project 1 final draft, and make sure that the reviewer memo is stapled to it. And if you don't know where to get that reviewer memo, I'll show you right now. It's on Sakai under Resources, Project Assignment Sheets and Related Items, and it's this reviewer memo right here. So you can just download it and fill it out, finish completing it, and print that out. You just want to make sure that you put your name in it and finish each of these prompts. And basically you're reflecting on some of the decisions you made and questions you still have about this project. And just print that out, and please attach it to your Project 1. So staple those together. There's even a stapler in the writing and rhetoric office if you need it, and then you can put it in my mailbox. So please do that today. Thank you, to turn those in on time. I'll be by the office at some point this week to pick them up and start grading them. Section 26, my 3:30 class, I have all of your papers graded, but I just can't get them back to you today. If you want to if you're dying to get them and you'd like to stop by my office hours on Friday, I'm in Roosevelt 321 from 1:30 to 3:30. I will bring those papers to my office hours, and you can pick them up, and even if you want to chat with me about your grade or what I commented on, I'm happy to do that with you. Or you can just wait till next Tuesday when I see you again, and I will give you those. I will return those to you. So Project 2 is now on the horizon. You did a couple activities already to prepare for them. You had a brainstorm activity that was due Friday under assignments about food experiences you've had. That was due Friday. It's still open, so if you haven't done it yet, I encourage you to do that. It only takes about 15 minutes, and it's kind of a fun assignment to get you starting to think about food experiences or experiences and events in your life that you've had with food that perhaps could be the topic of your food memoir for Project 2. Also on forums, your online discussion last week was a reflection on 3 different kinds of food memoirs: an audio memoir, a blog or an electronic memoir, and then a written food memoir called Herb's Chickens. So you reflected on these and responded to them and thought about these questions. So you've actually, and plus you've done the reading out of the Harbrace Guide to Writing, which talked about what food memoirs are. So you've looked at a lot of examples, you started brainstorming about food memoirs, so I think you are ready to write your first draft. And remember, it's okay, first drafts can be shitty, as Anne Lamott says. In fact, that's kind of what they're for. They're to get all of our ideas out, and they don't have to be perfect. But what I suggest you do before Thursday night is to write your first draft of this food memoir based on the project assignment sheet instructions. If you weren't in class, or if you lost that project assignment sheet, you can find it under Resources, Project Assignment Sheets and Related Items. Food memoir, sorry, Project 2 assignment sheet is right here. And when you open it, it's going to look like this. I also handed it out to you, so you have this. It's a pink handout that I handed out last Tuesday. And it describes everything that I'm looking for in this food memoir. Um, what I'd like you to do this week is, do your best to write out either a story of a series of significant culinary experiences, or perhaps just one significant experience with food that has somehow shaped or changed you. Make sure that you include vivid sensory details, so include some descriptions of the touch, taste, sight, hearing, and smell that you kind of had happen to you in those events. And maybe try and include, especially if there were characters and some dialogue, only important things that people said. And you want to try and use transitional phrases to indicate whether there's a flashback or a flash forward, or the time is changing when you go from event to event, or if you're following a strict chronology. Just make sure that you guide the reader with transitional phrases in your memoir. And try to have some kind of storyline in a memoir. It's very different from an analysis, which is your project one. This project is going to follow some kind of series of events in your life, and so you want to lead the reader through that. And you might take a look at this plot chart to help you do that. We're actually going to do I'm going to be moving the due date back. It's this project is not going to be due next week. I'm going to make it the following week or something. So I'll get back to you on the due dates. But we will be doing an activity in class next Tuesday, kind of based around this plot chart, and a reading from the Harbrace Guide to Writing. I believe it's called School Lunches. So make sure you've read that assignment, that at least that example of a food memoir out of the Harbrace Guide to Writing by next Tuesday, so that we can do an activity with it in class. Also, I'd like you to bring a draft of your memoir to class next week. So try to have some kind of storyline, but again, it doesn't have to be perfect. Read carefully through the assignment sheet so that you know what's expected, and you can try and do that. Though again, this first draft is just a run through. I still would like you to conduct the peer workshop this week online. Even no matter how crappy this first draft is, it's okay. Share something with your peers, and I'm going to show you how to do that peer workshop right now. But again, this due date is going to change. The semifinal draft with a reviewer memo is not due to me next Tuesday. I'm going to change that due date. So, but do come to class next week with a draft of your memoir. So these are all the things you want to make sure you include in well, as best you can in this first draft. Again, it doesn't have to be perfect. So these are kind of the expectations and guidelines for a good food memoir. You can compose this project in any mode. Somebody asked about composing a food memoir in a PowerPoint, and that would be great. There are ways to record your voice over PowerPoint, so you actually could turn in a PowerPoint to me with your voice recorded over it, so you actually wouldn't even have to present it. I could just listen to your voice as the PowerPoint ran, and I can show you how to do that in class next week. So if you are going to do some kind of audio or video or live or some kind of spoken food memoir, you can email me if you have any questions, but go ahead and do it. And if you can figure out how to record your voice over PowerPoint, then do that. I'm sure you could just Google it. That's how I figured out how to do it. Or I can talk about how to do it next week, but just stick to the guidelines. The requirements for this is a little longer. It's 3 to 4 pages, or 750 to 1,000 words. And if you're going to do a spoken memoir of some sort, you want it to be 6 to 8 minutes of spoken memoir. So keep that in mind. These are all your resources that you've been you've been reading a lot of this stuff for homework assignments. So you should be pretty well versed at this point in what a food memoir looks like. So take a look at that assignment sheet and write your first draft. And then by Thursday at 11 p.m., I want you to post that draft to our forum online discussion. And online, there are directions for how to conduct the peer review. You're going to be swapping papers. There's a swap list on your group discussion that I assigned everybody, the people who they're going to be swapping papers with. And then next week, based on the comments you get back from your peers, you can even revise that draft a little bit and bring in like a second draft next Tuesday after you get the comments back from your peers. And you can just bring one hard copy to class. And so for this is the last thing I'm going to talk about, and then I'll say goodbye. But for your peer workshop this week, all of the directions are clearly stated under the forum where they always are, under view full description. It tells you basically when to post your first draft of your project 2 by 11 p.m. on Thursday, but do note that your replies this week are not due until Sunday, so I'm giving you a little extra time this week because it does take some time to conduct peer reviews and you have to do 2 of them. And then it gives you the full directions on what to do for each of the papers. Basically, you're going to be doing 8 marginal comments in the sides of the paper. This is all electronic, so I'll show you briefly how to do an electronic, how to insert comments in a document using Word. Pages also has similar functions. And again, you're going to write an end response letter. So this is similar to the peer review we did in class. You want to have at least 8 marginal comments. At least 3 of those should be positive. And here are the 4 R's of peer review revisited. Also, think about the peer review goals that you guys set for each other in your group forum discussion from 2 weeks ago. So, think about trying to hit those goals this time in your peer review. And then you also want to write an end response letter at the end of each paper. And these are the questions and targeted things that I want you to comment on in the end letter. In the end letter, you can write right into the paper. Please make sure your letter is 350 words or more. And then you just save and label your peer review and post it back to the forum, the conversation string that your peer posted it to. And here are the tech specs for how to make comments on drafts. So you use Word track changes to type in your end response letter, and if you want to make any edits to the document, and use insert comments to put marginal comments in there. And you can do this in Pages as well. If you don't have Word or Pages, you can use Google Docs, but maybe contact me about that. You're going to have to share via email, so you'll need each other's email addresses if you're going to edit using Google Docs. So just briefly, basically, if you're going to do insert a marginal comment, you're just going to go to Insert, New Comment. Oh, sorry. What you want to do is highlight the section you want to comment on, and then click Insert, New Comment. And then you just type in, I really like how you said this, and then type in your comment. You need to do that at least 8 times. Then at the end of the paper, you're going to write, you're going to include an end letter. To do that, go to Tools, Track Changes, Highlight Changes, and make sure all the boxes are checked. Click OK, and dear writer, you can type your letter right into the enjoyed reading this, and then you want to answer all those questions that I posted on the forum directions, and then etc., 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 and then sign your name. And then save it, file, save as, say something like peer review, and then maybe put your name, and then maybe the project, and save that to your desktop, and then go back to the forum and just post it back so that your peer can have a copy of that peer review that you just did. So here are the directions for what I just showed you, the tech specs written out in case I went too fast on that document, which I tend to do sometimes. So, but you can stop and go back on this video, so if you need that help. If you have any questions, just email me. I hope that was helpful. So make sure, please, that you do your peer reviews this week online. The who you peer review is listed in your forum group. I called it a swap list. So if you look under the discussion, there's a list of who you need to swap with, and so just make sure you follow those guidelines. Okay, that's it. If you need me for anything, even peer review help, stop by my office on Friday between 1:30 and 3:30. I think I'll be there. Okay, so thanks a lot, and I will see you guys next week. And email me if you have any questions before then. All right, bye bye.